Hello, my name is Chloe, welcome to my channel. Today I'm bringing to you my June wrap-up. So it is currently the lunchtime of the day after I've got home from America. So I thought, obviously, the thing that makes the most sense to do is film a YouTube video. Why the hell not? So I have my wrap up to bring you, and June was not my best month for reading. It is potentially my worst month since I've joined the book internet. And I mean, I get why. I had exams on I think it was the 7th and 8th of June, pretty sure. So I couldn't really read until the 8th at least. And then I got on a plane on the 18th to see Cole, and I wasn't back until July. So even though I had the best intentions of books to read while I was over there, and I will say I am combined 1,000 pages through my 2 current reads, which would change my statistics a bit, but 1,000 pages, but I don't count those until I finish them, so they'll be in July. But yeah, I only read 6 books, which I know 6 books is still a hell of a lot of books. But for me personally, it is just not that many. And I found that when I was away, even though I was doing absolutely nothing with my day and I could sit and read, I found I was sitting and scrolling YouTube or Twitch, or just sitting on my phone in the sun, or just sitting in the sun. You can't really tell, I haven't tanned. But yeah, I just found that I wasn't reading and I wasn't prioritizing reading. Whether I would call this a reading slump, I don't know. We will see how many books I can read in the next week or so. Moving into some of the statistics, as I said, I read 6 books. 3 of them were physical books, 2 were audiobooks, and 1 was an ebook. I'm classing those differently now. I don't know why, I just am. The ratings overall, so I had 1 4.5 star, 2 4 stars, 1 3 star, 1 2 star, and 1 book I didn't rate, which gives my average rating a 3.5 star. I read 2,066 pages overall, which equates to 69 pages a day and an average of 344 pages per book. Nothing too substantial, really. And let's just go in the order I read them. So the first one is Getting Off by Erica Garza. This is the one I didn't rate. It is a memoir about the author's sex and porn addiction, and I actually found this very interesting. I read this on my phone actually while I was away at college, and it just gave me something to switch my mind off to and something completely different to engage in. There wasn't a fantasy world to get lost in, but it also wasn't something typical to read. And I will say, you know, I did have some issues with it. I found some of it very, very boring and some of it just a bit weird, but I really enjoyed giving this a go, I think is the best way to say it. It is a genre that, like, I don't read too much non-fiction, but I found the topic itself very interesting and I wanted to know more. So yeah, I had a good time with this, but I'm not going to rate it because it is literally a woman talking about her, like, we can't say it in detail without demonetizing the video, but just her childhood experiences and how that led to dysfunctional relationships in the future. So yeah, some of it was boring, some of it was really interesting, and it was all a little bit weird. Overall, I would recommend it if this is a genre that you like to read anyway, or you're just dipping your toe in. It was an easy one. Next up, we had one of the 4-star reads, which was The Roommate by Rosie Danan. This one was my Patreon buddy read for the month, and I had a good time with it, and pretty much everyone else did too. This is about Clara, who moves across the states to move in with her childhood crush, and it turns out he's not going to be there. He has rented the room out to Josh, who is an adult entertainment star, performer, if you will. And yeah, she ends up living with him. There is obviously sexual tension. It says temptation is just across the hall, and yeah, it's all about Clara, who is the consummate good girl, overachieving, well-mannered, utterly predictable. So she finds herself sharing a house with Josh, who might be a bit too perceptive, not to mention handsome, for comfort, but there's a good chance he and Clara could have survived sharing a summer sublet if she hadn't looked him up on the internet. Because yes, adult performer. Interesting, very smutty. Did not get the amount of smut from the cover. This is not cute. This is smut, yeah. 4 stars, did enjoy it, and thanks to Leandra I do have book number 2. It's kind of book number 2, it's kind of a side-by-side, The Intimacy Experiment, so I'm hopefully going to be reading that soon. Next up, my favourite book of the month was a reread, and that was City of Lost Souls by Cassandra Clare. I'm following along with the By the Angel Along, hosted by Becca from the Becca Fowl. I have fallen behind, but I read this one in June. It should have been May, I think, and now I haven't read June's or July's yet. Yeah. Anyway, this was a reread, and it was actually the last of Cassandra Clare's books that I've already read. The last reread that I'm going to do as part of the readathon, and I did enjoy it. I brought it down from a 5-star to a 4.5 because it just was a bit long. It's a bit chunky. It is about 550 pages, and when I knew the majority of what was going on, it did drag a little bit. I don't feel like it needed to be quite this long. I'm saying all these negative things. It's almost a 5-star read, but I always find it easier to judge the negatives. We follow a lot of different perspectives, and sometimes we just were visiting perspectives that had nothing exciting going on, and that's what I feel like could have been cut out to make this a bit shorter. But 4.5 stars, obviously really loved it, and cannot wait to carry on with reading these books. And now, wait, no, that's a complete lie. I've read all of the Infernal Devices, which I still have to read. This was the last of the Mortal Instruments, and apart from the Infernal Devices, I haven't read more. Just scratch what I just said. I'm excited to read more of Cassandra Clare. Next up, the first audiobook of the month was Path of Night from the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina series by Sarah Rees Brennan, and sadly this was my 2-star. This book itself was actually gifted to me, it was gifted to me by Sarah from Septimus Snape, but unfortunately this will be unhauled. I have actually not had the best time with this whole series, but I got my hands on the whole series before I'd read the first book. This was definitely the most disappointing, and the thing I found with all 3 books is the time scale is so weird, and it's so hard to work out what events we should know have already happened and which events it's telling us about but using the past tense. I bet that makes no sense to you, because it makes no sense to me and I'm the one that read it. But it would say when so-and-so went to Hal, and I was thinking, have you told me that they've gone to Hal, or is this you telling me they're going to Hal? They've been to Hal. Makes no sense, I know. But I do really enjoy the TV series of this. I did not watch it till the end, so I still have much more to watch. But yeah, unfortunately this was a disappointment. So I'm looking down at my thing, and I told you I'd read 2 audiobooks. Oh, I had. Duh, this is my second audiobook. Some Kind of Wonderful by Giovanna Fletcher. I didn't love this one either. I gave it 3 stars. But this one is just an easy read. It is about our main character, Lizzie, who is dating Ian. They've been dating forever, and there are pressures from both inside and outside forces for them to get engaged. And Ian decides, rather than get engaged, he is actually going to call off the relationship. And this entire book is about Lizzie coming to terms with the fact that she is now single. She is not the youngest woman. She's definitely not old, but she's been with Ian for most of her young life. So she's kind of reflecting on who she is as a person, what came from Ian and how that's influenced her and the person she kind of wants to be. I did like it. There were a lot of parallels I could draw directly from experiences in my past, but it just didn't wow me that much. And unfortunately, I think it is the most disappointing of Giovanna Fletcher's books I've read. Sorry, everybody. But yeah, I just wasn't wowed, and it makes me sad, but what can I do? And then here we go. We have the last book of my wrap-up, and that is The Nothing Man by Catherine Bryan Howard, which I gave 4 stars. I really enjoyed this. This was the Chloe's Crime Scene corner pick for the month, and pretty much everybody liked this book too. A lot of people did give it 5 stars. I had a few niggly issues, which I'm sure I'll focus on more than the positives. But this is a book about Eve and Jim. Eve is the survivor of an attack from a serial killer, the Nothing Man, who killed her entire family but left her alive. And then the other character, Jim, is the Nothing Man. So he is reading a book written by Eve that's been published into the world about his crimes and the hunt to find him. So I loved this. I loved how it was done. Particularly, I loved reading the chapters where Jim was sat reading the book, and then so you would read the book with him and then he would stop to add his thoughts. They were very, very well done. I did like some of the twists. Some of them were a little predictable and not like, didn't completely wow me. But the one twist that I didn't think was coming, perfect, loved it. This did have the potential to be 5 stars, but the ending didn't wow me at all, unfortunately, so it stuck to 4. I don't really have much more to say about this one, apart from people really enjoyed it. Come and join in with the book club if you wish. There is an announcement video that went up last week when you're seeing this of our next pick, so please do come and join us. That is it is definitely the shortest wrap up I have ever done, so thank you for bearing with me. Apologies for being a little bit distant in the booktube, book internet community. I hope I can pick that back up, but then I am starting more exams soon, hopefully, if I've passed the original ones. Yeah, life has been a little bit hectic, but I am trying my best to keep up with reading and content for you guys. So if that means a month of a short wrap up, then that's what it means, but I'm happy I can still bring it to you. So yeah, on that note, thank you very much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!